What? So I'm currently on the pathway to being diagnosed with endometriosis. It is the last thing on my list to check off, so I thought I'd bring you guys on my journey for that one. I just had my very first gynecologist consultation to discuss my endometriosis potential, if you will. My regular GP has been pushing for it, and so I had to go speak to a gynecologist because it's still a gynecologist's problem, but it's actually not. And anyway, she brought me back to square one. So I'm a little bit annoyed. Now, if you haven't seen my video from the last week, it was essentially how endometriosis was ruining my life, and it's pretty accurate and a little bit dramatic. So if you want to go check that out, that'd be great. But anyways, this is my recent update on that. There were so many red flags, right? And I'm not one to complain. I really am not. But, you know, the receptionist was so nasty when I was making the appointment. Like, I don't know how many huffs she could do in like a single sentence. Like, everything was too much for her. And she kept like, there's multiple centers in Melbourne, and she kept changing like what she was saying about the center. I was like, no, I need it closer to me. And she kept picking the furthest one away. And I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. Like, I need this one that's closer to me. And then she was going through like the dates. I had to book 2 months in advance to see this gynecologist. Now, if you can imagine being in excruciating pain all the time, like it was a hike literally to be able to get to that date. Now I have such a fear of mistaking things and dates and stuff, and I kept asking her about the date, and I was like, now it's this date at this time at this center, and she's like, yes, no, at that center, and I was like, and it's definitely this day, and she's like, yes, that day, and she confirmed the date. Anyways, a hike later, I literally like had mum drive me to this appointment. We get there 10 a.m. and I'm like trying to pull open the door, and the door is locked. And I'm like, that's weird. So then I called, and that same receptionist said, I never told you this date. Like, she doesn't go down that way on this date. And I'm like, I literally had this confirmed with you, and I checked so many times about this date. I had it in my calendar the moment you said this date. And she's like, no, like, you know, I'm sorry that you misinterpreted what I had said. Anyways, I was bawling my eyes out because the thought of my appointment being in the next week was so much to like handle, because I'd been in such excruciating pain. Thankfully, she was able to fit me in the next day. And the next day we turn up, I go into the appointment. That receptionist is there, and she's just as nasty as she was over the phone. Anyway, so I sat in reception, and eventually my appointment came to me, and I went in there. I had mum with me, and this receptionist literally had her Prada handbag sitting on the chair next to her. It literally had its own seat. And I mean, like, go girl if you can afford a Prada handbag with my $200 that I'm spending to see you today for a small consultation. Like, as somebody that hasn't been able to actually properly work, like, $200 is so much money. And yeah, I had to save up for that appointment, but to see her boasting with her bag on the chair next to, like, it wasn't even the furthest away chair. It was like right in front of me. My phone literally ran out of storage, so I had to improvise, and it took me so long. It's now dark. Sorry about the lighting. If you can hear that dog barking, she's 6 years old and we're trying to crate train her, and it's been hell. So I had my appointment with this gynecologist. I was really open-minded and hopeful for this doctor because she did say on her website that she specializes in endometriosis. I was like, okay, I feel great. Anyways, sat down. From the start, she was really dismissive. And I found that so like disheartening, because I was just like, surely you're a female, surely you get it. Like, help me. And I listed off absolutely everything that I was struggling with, and brought up my history that it's been happening since I was 10 years old in 2010, and that I've had colonoscopies because people thought it was like a bowel related issue. And I had all of that test like checked with the colonoscopy, and it came back clear. Everything was fine, no issues. So then I was with I don't know what they call them, the stomach specialists. And essentially she was like, it must be your anxiety, honey. Like, have some antidepressants. So that's what I've been on ever since. So this doctor, unfortunately, was really dismissive. She wasn't listening to me, and she just said it was a bowel problem. No, please don't do this to me. I was so like, the moment she said sounds like a bowel problem, my heart absolutely shattered, right? I was hopeful. I was excited to do, I don't even think excited is the right word. I was just keen to get somewhere. And it took me 2 months to get this appointment, and to come back and say it was like a bowel problem was so disheartening. And she wasn't listening to anything I had to say. And at this point, like 20 minutes in, I'm like, I'm done. She did do a physical exam, and she did end up saying she's leaning more towards endometriosis now. But I've already had an internal ultrasound done, but it wasn't with the women's scan place where they specialize in scanning for endometriosis. I didn't do that because that's not bulk billed, and that's a $500 appointment for something that might not come up with anything. Because I don't think it can detect like surface level endometriosis. It can check like deep infiltrating endometriosis, but not surface level. So it could come back with zilch. And that's why I didn't go down that path. And I was told with my GP, all I needed for the hospital was just an internal scan done. And then so I was like, okay, cool. Had my scan done. It just came back that I had polycystic ovaries. Off that topic, that's a whole other topic. I can't work because of my pain, which means a $200 appointment is so bloody expensive. I had to save up for this. And yeah, but have it her way, I would have had to do would have had that appointment, which is $200. I would have then had my $500 women's health scan. I then would have had to spend another $200 to go back and see her to discuss that. That's too expensive for me. Like, I just can't do it. Anyways, so besides the money factor, Bentley? No, baby. No. So besides the money factor, please, please, please listen, trust yourself. If you know, it's hard. If you know, you know. Like, if you know that something's wrong, and, you know, please vocalize and stand up for yourself, because otherwise you'll get nowhere. And I have been getting nowhere for years because I didn't stand up for myself and vocalize, no, like, there is something actually wrong with me. Like, please help me. I had to cry to many doctors for them to still turn their heads away from me and not help me, because I'm too complicated and that there is no answers for me. And I did my research, and I found a gynecologist, and his reviews were really, really good. And I'm not talking about 5-star reviews. I don't really believe the 5-star reviews. I don't believe the 1-star reviews. I think they're really petty people. So I always sit in between the 2 to 3 stars. And that's where I find like the most genuine and like most helpful. And he had still really good people that recommended him. So I was like, you know what, let's try him. So I had my doctor's appointment today with my GP, and I said, the current gynecologist that you sent me to isn't for me. Like, I had issues with her. Like, it's just no, but can I please have this guy? And then she said, oh, yeah, I've recommended a few people to him. They seem to think that he's really sweet. I'm like, perfect. I don't care that he's male. Please just get it sorted. So I'm very grateful that she has had my back, and my GP has been the one that has been the driving force for a lot of my tests. And I'm super grateful for her, because I honestly wouldn't even be in this position now, because I didn't know what endometriosis is until she brought it up to me. So, and she said I would have to push and push and push until I get somewhere, which is currently true. I'm thinking I'm going to meet this guy gynecologist and see what he has to say if I have to have this $500 scan or not. Because, honey, I'm stressed with money. I'm a really quiet person. I don't like vocalizing things and standing up for myself. I'm not very good at it. But at the moment, it's just something I've had to do, because I've been dismissed by so many people, and I'm like, enough's enough. I've been in pain for 5 months straight now. Someone's got to help me. I am giving a male a try after I had another male that was a GP tell me essentially endometriosis doesn't exist. It's only a period disease and it's rare and you don't really get it. Yeah, so I'm giving another guy a try. He specializes in endometriosis and a whole lot of other stuff, so I'm hopeful. I got nothing else to lose except for money. Anyways, please normalize shopping around for doctors. Vocalize, you know your body. Period. You know it. The amount of times I feel like I'm insane after the gynecologist, it sent me in a whole spiral for the rest of that day, because I was like, am I crazy? Is it a bowel problem? Did someone miss something? And I'm like, no, I know my issues. I am not saying that I have endometriosis 100%. I will gladly go in there, and if they come out with endometriosis, perfect, I have an answer. If I do not, then okay, that huge thing that has checked every single bloody box is off the list. That means my doctor and I can go through other paths that aren't bowel related, because been there, done that, don't need another one. Thank you. That has been my update so far. And I honestly will say this again. If you haven't seen my last video, mental health is such a huge part of this journey, and what people don't realize and understand is that it actually takes a huge mental toll on you as an individual, because you feel so isolated and so alone. And it's okay. And please reach out to somebody, a friend, family, or to a professional if you are mentally struggling with anything, literally anything. Because you are not alone, no matter what you may think. I have felt and sometimes still feel so incredibly lonely, but there's got to be somebody out there that has our issues. And I'm saying ours in hopes that maybe you feel a bit better knowing that, hey, you know what? We're struggling, but we can all struggle together. And, every bit of awareness to this cause, even if I don't have it, I will still be so vocal about endometriosis, because it is still such an understudied area in the medical field. And it is such a, importance now to me, and to speak up about it, because endometriosis is no joke. People have taken their lives because of endometriosis, and because of the surgery wait lists and being pushed back, and nobody's listening. No medicine is helping. There is no solution or cure for endometriosis. And that is bloody scary. Thank you so much for joining me on my therapy sessions. I was supposed to do my hair, but I can't stand in the bathroom for too long, so I'm in my mum's conversation lounge to do my hair, but I got sidetracked talking to y'all. So yeah, I hope you have a lovely day, a lovely night, wherever you are in the world, and just know that you are not alone.